Welcome to the NanoCap podcast. I'm your host, Will Tjernlund, and I'm excited to have you join me on this journey through the world of NanoCap companies. For the past decade, I've talked to thousands of business owners across various industries. It's been an enlightening experience revealing the vast tapestries of entrepreneurship and innovation that thrives beneath the surface of mainstream media coverage. Each week, I will interview different leaders of NanoCap publicly traded companies to learn about their history, what they do now, and their future. As a reminder, none of this information is financial advice, and it is all for entertainment purposes only. Let's start this week's episode. Hi, everyone. This week we have Jan Goetgeluk, the CEO and founder of Virtuix, stock ticker VTIX. Virtuix develops and sell Omni, the premier brand omnidirectional treadmills that let users walk and run in 360-degree inside AI-generated worlds, whether it's imaginary worlds or digital replicas of the real world. Jan, thanks you so much for coming on the podcast.
Hey, Will, thanks for having me.
So to start, between your last name and looking like it looks like you went to the University of Ghent for a bit, you're not originally from Austin, Texas, are you?
No, I'm originally from Belgium. I came to the U.S. for my first job out of college, and I never left. I fell in love with the U.S., and my company, a Belgian company, wanted me to go back to Belgium after my project. And I told them, you know what, I'm going to stay here. So I quit my job, stayed in the U.S., went to business school, and then I went from there. So yeah, it's I fell in love with the U.S. spirit, the American dream, if you will, the potential here for entrepreneurship. And that's what appealed me to it.
So I would love to hear a little bit more about that, of you being in probably your 20s-ish, working in the U.S., and you're looking to get into kind of the finance world at that point. What was the moment where you're like, had to call your parents and be like, hey, I'm not coming back home. I actually want to stay here. I'm applying to business schools. Like, what was there a moment when you realized that, like, okay, this is for real, I'm not going back?
After 2 weeks in the U.S., I knew I was going to stay. Very quickly, it just clicked for me. So I knew that, but my project was, 5 months or so. But yeah, I told my parents, look, I'm going to stay here. Went to business school, then joined JP Morgan as an investment banker for a couple of years. And then I was making a lot of money as an investment banker, but I quit that to do this, to start Virtuix and bring our product to market.
So it's pretty interesting from the point of view of you come in, you got a banking degree, you're coming from Europe, which already is not like as entranced with entrepreneurs as the US is and coming up with crazy ideas. Where did this crazy idea come from? I heard in other interviews you were saying, hey, you thought VR was going to be the future, but I didn't really see you have like any sort of like engineering background. So like, what gave you the confidence to be like, okay, actually I can go into this with my investment banking background. This is something that I want to tackle.
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually have an engineering degrry.
Oh, you do? Okay, I didn't see that.
No worries. No, but I have a master's degree actually in mechanical engineering. And I thought virtual reality was going to be the next big thing, because I saw the Microsoft Kinect initially, and I thought, wow, there's a lot of things going on here. And then I was part of this chat group online where Palmer Lucky was also on. He went on and founded Oculus, which was bought by Meta. He's now co-founder at Anduril. So it was around that time frame. And I thought, the biggest problem that hasn't been solved yet in VR is going to be, how do you walk around inside VR? I didn't want to sit down and push buttons on a controller or a keyboard. I wanted to walk naturally. So you needed something like a treadmill, but a treadmill in 360 degrees, an omnidirectional treadmill. And nothing existed. And that's where my mechanical engineering background actually came in handy, even though I was working as an investment banker in high finance. I thought, well, this is a mechanical problem. And I started working on that after hours. And that's how we got started.
And so you're working on it after hours for about how long, and like how far along is your prototype before you're like, okay, I'm ready to do like a Kickstarter?
Yeah. That was more than a year. I literally decided on January 1st, 2012 that, I want to start tackling this problem. And in the first year, I spent researching every possible way one could make an omnidirectional treadmill, motorized, non-motorized, moving parts, no moving parts. And it took about a year or so to settle on the concept, because nothing existed like that, and build the first prototype. And after hours in investment banking, that's often in the middle of the night, because I was always working 80 hours a week and more, 7 days a week. It's a really tough job. So it was a very hectic time. But the aha moment was when we had our second prototype. The first prototype didn't work. But recovered from that. Next prototype, that started to look good. And I put a video online of me playing a famous game, Skyrim, in VR on the Omni. And that video blew up. Hundreds of thousands of views, big press cycle. And that was, I think, in February or so, or January, February 2013. And that's where I thought, you know what, this is looking very promising. I'm going to quit my day job now and focus on bringing this to market.
It's funny you mentioned Skyrim. I remember my old office way back when we had an extra room and had a VR set with the pulley system, so it kind of guided down to you. And yeah, shooting a bow in Skyrim was the first kind of aha moment for me in VR of actually getting to pull it back and such. And so, no, that's a very, very cool game, especially with the dragons and such and all that with VR. And I can't even imagine if we had a 360 treadmill back then. Okay, so you launched the Kickstarter. What was your thought behind it? Was it, hey, I need to just get this funding to get the first models out? Or, hey, I think I can go 10, 20x maybe because of the virality of this. I can go 10, 20x my goal and actually turn this into a business overnight. And then back to Palmer Lucky. How big of a deal was it him having the endorsement? The guy who basically invented modern day VR said, hey, this is the Kickstarter to check out. How much was that kind of a kick in the butt too?
That meant a lot. I've always kept in touch with Palmer, even today. But in the early days, he went on and founded Oculus and the Oculus Rift headset initially. And that Kickstarter showed the way. That was over $2 million. So that's why we also decided to do a Kickstarter. Our community, our VR community, was very active on that platform. Ours was 1.1 million, one of the most successful at that time. So it was a great start. And it was the logical initial step to get our name out there, get our community going, get people excited. And that was a starting point.
So in your own words, what is the Virtuix and what is the Omni?
Well, Virtuix is our company name, and the Omni is our core technology, which is essentially an omnidirectional treadmill that lets you walk and run around in 360 degrees inside video games and other virtual worlds. And we now have, we brought 3 generations of products to market. We've sold over $20 million worth of products. The most recent product is Omni 1, which is our most advanced treadmill to date, the first one designed for the home. We reported 138% year-over-year growth for the 6 months ended September 30th. So we're growing, we're ready to scale. We just went public this week. That's also why we're doing this podcast.
Congrats.
On NASDAQ, off to a great start, lots of excitement. And look, even though we've been in business for a while, for us, we're still only getting started. And we're working on some really cool technologies, and we're ready to scale going forward.
So before we get into all the different applications and different technology you guys are working on, I'm curious just from like the gamer point of view of what was kind of the hardest thing when you're first kind of working on it? Is it making it so that it feels really smooth walking in all directions? Is it actually mapping the treadmill to a controller so that it feels smooth connecting to the game, not just physically smooth, but that you like your feet move at the same pace as your character moves so you don't get motion sickness? Like what was the big kind of like breakthrough that made it that, okay, this is going to be the premier brand in omnidirectional treadmills?
Yeah, it's mostly the mechanical design. My main objectives were threefold. One, it had to be compact so it could fit in the living room. 2, it had to be affordable. Can't be a $50,000 contraption. And 3, it had to work well, meaning that it had to feel, to your brain at least, it had to feel that you're walking naturally. Those were my 3 objectives. And that didn't exist. There was some big contraption out there with motorized belts and motors, huge device, very expensive. But I wanted to make it compact, affordable, and still working well. And so the mechanical design, the mechanical concept is the secret sauce here. That is also protected by our IP, by our 25 patents, 5 more pending. And so it's very hard for anybody to copy what we've developed.
So when people first see like a demo, they can understand pretty quickly the idea of hooking up a, say, Meta or a HTC headset and playing a pre-existing game. But I would love for you to go into a little bit more of the defense side of things and talk a little bit more about how you're able to map environments and upload it quickly to your computers. What are the benefits of that, and kind of where you've seen your applications in the defense industry?
Yeah, an exciting development right now is these AI-driven 3D reconstruction techniques, like, for example, Gaussian splatting, where now in a matter of hours, we can turn 360-degree camera footage into photorealistic virtual environments. So that process used to take many months. Now, thanks to AI-driven 3D reconstruction, within hours we can create beautiful photorealistic replicas of real-world locations. And then with our technology, you can then walk around inside those environments. So you can think of applications like industrial training, safety training, real estate, virtual tourism on the entertainment side, and also defense. Defense is one market we're going into with our VTW system, the virtual terrain walk, with the slogan, walk the terrain before you fight on it. We let warfighters essentially walk the photorealistic, Jew-specific terrain virtually. That could be the mission area or where they will deploy, and get a sense of space, of distance, familiarize themselves with that location, with that environment, virtually, by walking in the virtual world on our treadmills, on our Omnis. There's nothing like it. It's revolutionary for the defense sector.
And could you pontificate a little bit more about just the advantage of having a consumer product while chasing after these big defense contracts and kind of the two-pronged approach?
Yeah, we call it a dual-use strategy, which is actually a term from the defense, from the DoD, where we have a defense stack technology that also has civilian use. In our case, the civilian use is our gaming system, the Omni One gaming system with health benefits. And so we pair that potentially high-volume consumer sales with potentially high-margin defense contracts, government contracts for the defense, which also then have recurring revenues afterwards. So that combination, that dual-use strategy, is our strategy for growth going forward.
And how do you decide as the CEO kind of where to spend your energy? Is it, hey, if we can just get this in as many consumers' hands as possible, we will work out the kinks that much faster. We'll get more and more people aware that this is a option, and the defense contracts will just come as we prove out that we are scale and we're like the leader in doing this? Or do you spend your time saying, hey, the consumer business has basically figured it out. Those people are tinkerers. They love working on this stuff. They'll figure out any tweaks they need to do in their own home environment to make it absolutely perfect for them. We really should spend our time going after the big ticket stuff. How do you kind of spend your time?
Well, it's both. The consumer market, doesn't develop itself. We're ready to scale there. We're ready to grow. That's where most of our growth comes from, 138% year-over-year growth. We have a production capacity in place to produce 3,000 units a month. That's about $100 million in annual revenues. So we got to scale our sales and marketing and keep growing our consumer business. That takes a lot of effort. And then defense also doesn't happen automatically. So we're actively pursuing the defense sector, which is a longer sales cycle, but we already have test units at, for example, Yokota Air Force Base, at, for example, the U.S. Air Force Academy. So we're getting a lot of traction and excitement, and we're giving demos, talking to all the right people, and moving our business development forward in the defense sector.
I was thinking about the product and large B2B orders they could get outside of the defense industry. Do you all have any ambitions or any talks underway with, say, like theme parks or people like, say, like Sandbox VR, or anyone who would be buying these by the dozen kind of thing as a like experience? I can see a Dave & Buster's or something like that.
Yeah, Dave & Buster's is a customer. For that segment, the entertainment venues segment, out-of-home entertainment, we have our Omni Arena attraction, which bundles 4 Omnis together in a full turnkey system for entertainment venues. It includes esports competitions. It has fully automated staging area, videos. I mean, it's a beautiful, complete solution that we've been selling. We've sold 80 of those nationwide to date, including to Dave & Buster's, for example, and those kind of venues. So that is an existing business that we already have. That market is not very big. We have a good product market fit in that market, but it's not a very large market. So, however, what it does for us is we now have over 500,000 registered Omni Arena players. So it gives us a lot of exposure, a lot of initial customers who then have asked us over the years, hey, where can I get this? Where can I buy this for my home? And actually, that's what prompted us to develop Omni One, our first system for the home, for consumers.
Well, I can tell you firsthand from talking to my buddies who are into gaming, into VR, all of them, when I showed them your product, they expected that the retail price was going to be 10x what it actually is. And
it's not bad. I mean, we have a version without the headset for $2,595, and then the complete system with the headset, everything you need, is $3,495. It's not cheap, but it's in line with a high-end gaming PC, high-end connected fitness devices. It's in that category. And so there's a big market for it. And then with a buy now, pay later plan, like with a firm, maybe it's around $100 a month. So it becomes affordable to more people.
Oh, 100%. The idea that you can have the most high-tech VR rig in the entire world with having this 360 treadmill, it's something that you would have assumed to cost a decade ago $250,000. And now you can do it for the price of a used car kind of thing. So no, it's pretty amazing.
Cheaper, $2,500. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I was saying even with the computer too and everything, if you went crazy, it still is going to be under 10 grand. If you went just bought the most top of the line thing. So no, it's really, really impressive. So something that's a side effect of your product that I don't know if it was the plan going in, but it's inspirational to hear about it. Tell us about just like people losing weight and such using the product, and that it actually is like getting people off the couch and actually getting people to burn calories and all that.
Yeah, it's very rewarding to see that. Yeah, I mean, our system for the home is a gaming system first, but it has great health benefits. We did a test where if you play a shooter game on the Omni for about an hour, you burn up to 700 calories per hour. We had one customer lose 40 pounds in 4 months. So people are playing, they're having fun, but look, you're getting your steps in, you're active. And hey, if you want to be more fit, but you don't like to exercise, but you like gaming, well, this is the product for you.
No, for sure. You all are going to need to have like a Apple Health connection soon. To be able to measure your heart rate and all that type of stuff. So as you're working on this, what's kind of the plan for the next, say, 3 to 5 years? Is it get the Omni 1 just in as many hands as possible? Or is it the kind of thing where you got the Omni 2 is waiting in the wings, going to come out in a few years, and that's going to be the end-all, be-all great thing? Or kind of what do the next 3 to 5 years look like?
Yeah, it's growing our consumer business. Right now, we're only just in the US, so we're going to expand that internationally. And to your point, get Omni One into as many households as we can. We think it's a great device that gets people off the couch. And then enter other markets with applications based on our technology, like defense is a big focus right now with our VTW system, and potentially other markets as well. And really bringing that physical movement to virtual worlds, to AI-generated worlds. How are you going to move around in those worlds? Well, you need the Omni. That's our vision.
And then since you are kind of laser focused on the Omni One, is there a chance that you ever like license out any of your patents because someone wants to make an Omni but for horses or any of that type of stuff?
No, it's not easy to do. I mean, our system is fairly complex. It's complex hardware with software, with game integration. I mean, it's not something that other people can simply, modify or license to do something else with it. So, what we have is an incredible system, patent protected, and there's so much that we can do with it.
Well, Jan, as we wrap up here, what gets you out of bed in the morning? What gets you excited about this? What makes this the thing you want to work on for the last 10 years and now beyond?
Yeah, I love what we do. I love what I do. I love our team, the technology we're working on. Even though we just went public, it's really just a starting point. We're excited for what lies ahead, especially now with the developments around Gaussian splatting. It truly delivers the full potential and the full promise of VR, where you have photorealistic virtual worlds. And then with our device, you can walk around in those. It's really exciting. And so, yeah, I love building a company. As a team, we love building great products. And that's what keeps us moving.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Where should I send my listeners if they want to learn more about the Omni One and what you all are up to?
Yeah, Virtuix.com, Virtuix.com. And ticker symbol VTIX on NASDAQ.
Easy enough. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. And for those of you still listening, please remember to subscribe and review. Thanks.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not provide financial, legal, or any other advice. The information is not investment advice or any offer to buy or sell any securities or to make any investment. The views expressed by the guests are their own, and any reference to third-party products, services, or information does not constitute an endorsement therefore by NanoCap Podcast or its affiliates. The NanoCap Podcast Express disclaims all liability for any individual's use of the information presented in this podcast.